Can we just talk about how great of a year 2017 has been for gaming? From sequels to new IPs, platformers to open world adventures, it seems like the hits just keep on coming. But what continues to stick out to me most is the amount of innovation I've seen. And yes, I know we're only halfway through the year, but that's why I'm so impressed. Don't ever let me tell you that we've seen it all when it comes to games, because there's always something new that can catch me by surprise. So today on Good Game Design, let's talk about some of those innovations. I wanted to start with Hollow Knight because I've gotten a lot of comments asking my thoughts on this game. If you're unaware, Hollow Knight is a combat-focused Metroidvania with a unique, spooky art style and a pretty challenging difficulty. It does a good job of combining satisfying battles and exploration with brutal platforming sections, almost reminiscent of Super Meat Boy. I really enjoyed this game, and the Nightmare Before Christmas-like aesthetic helped cement a lasting impression on my mind. But its most memorable aspect was how it incorporated a map and health system. At the beginning of the game, you have no idea how to check where you are in relation to your surroundings, but eventually you come across a map maker who can sell you a sketch of the nearby area. However, this only shows the outline of the various rooms, not your location within them or any notable landmarks. Instead, you have to buy these upgrades from the village above ground. So until then, you have to think pretty critically about where to go and remember where you are. It not only tests your resolve and willpower to become a better explorer, but also helps you become more familiar with the layout of this massive world. The health system was also pretty neat. You can normally take 5 hits before dying, but you can gather juice, I guess, from your enemies as you kill them to restore some of your hit points that have been lost. This encourages you to be aggressive and face your opposition head on to stock up on health juice. But it isn't a get out of jail free card either. You have to stand still as your health refills, so you still need to learn the patterns of boss fights, otherwise you'll just be a sitting duck. It's a perfect balance of challenge and forgiveness in both combat as well as platforming. If you die, you go back to the previous save bench, so there's certainly punishment for death, but there's a lot of tools at your disposal to survive as well, as long as you're resilient. If you haven't had a chance to try out Hollow Knight yet, it's a must play. Next up, let's take a look at TumbleSeed. We've seen several creative roguelikes so far this year, like Flint Hook's Pirate Ship Slingfest or Dead Cell's fast-paced action, but TumbleSeed doesn't look like any other roguelikes I've played. Its minimalist art design drew me in, but don't be fooled, it is extremely difficult. Your simple goal as the chosen seed is to get to the top of the mountain, but the basic gameplay is super unique. You control your seed by tilting the ground left or right and rolling your way up the level, almost like those old Labyrinth games. Pitfalls and enemies are scattered all throughout, and it definitely takes some getting used to. You can switch between different seeds that have special attributes, like the basic seed that plants checkpoints, one that grows spears to protect you from attacks, or one that can restore your health. But all of these cost crystals, the main currency of the game. You can even collect more crystals by switching a seed as well. And this swap mentality of figuring out which seed to use based on my next goal was probably the most satisfying part of the game. Balancing crystals, protection, and health, all the while making sure I have checkpoints so I don't lose a ton of progress, was equally distressing and exciting. You even gain random power-ups along the way, like a seed that drops mines behind you, or one that shoots out at enemies around you. Also, when you fall down a pit, it fills in and becomes a new patch of soil, so that you don't make the same mistake twice, which is a nice touch. Learning the finesses of controlling the ground might be the most difficult part, but it feels great when you squeeze through a really tight section and narrowly avoid defeat. Woo! Some of my favorite games are roguelite platformers, but it was really nice to see TumbleSeed try something totally new for the genre and present its goals in a straightforward yet unconventional way. I talked briefly about Snake Pass in my ukulele video, but it's certainly worth diving a little deeper into. This game was nowhere on my radar upon release, but it looked so cute, bright, and vivid that I had to give it a whirl. I don't know if I've ever played a game that controls quite like Snake Pass. To move faster, you have to slither left and right like a real snake, and move up your head to reach ledges above you, but it gets complicated pretty quickly as you start winding around bamboo shoots and climbing up lofty towers. To ensure you don't fall off, you have to continuously wrap around objects, and you can tighten your grip by holding the left trigger to keep your position as you think about your next move. It's best to take your time and plan out your actions carefully, because it's really easy to forget which which button to press next and fall down if you move too quickly. But I think where Snake Pass excels is in its familiarity with collectathons. While it is more of a puzzler, I can't help but feel like it draws from the charm and cartoony detail of 3D platformers of years past. You do collect bubbles, coins, and gemstones, but check it out. He makes faces at you when you press the D-pad buttons. It's so cute. Not to mention, David Wise composed the soundtrack to really give it that nostalgic feel, almost like it's directly out of Donkey Kong Country or something. In fact, I don't think I would have enjoyed Snake Pass nearly as much if it wasn't for these groovin' tracks behind the gameplay. Finally, let's talk about Nier Automata. I'm not familiar with the series, but it didn't stop me from getting sucked in and having a blast, destroying robots and uncovering the mystery of Yorha. The game is beautiful, both visually and musically, but what stood out to me most was its ability to never break immersion for the player. Everything you do in Nier has an in-game explanation for that action. Like saving your game is just your character connecting to the network to upload their data. Your mission markers, map, and other HUD items are exactly that to 2B and 9S. What you see is what they see, and what you want to accomplish is what they want to accomplish. In your second playthrough, it retells the same story but from the perspective of another character, with a change of focus from hacking and slashing to, well, just hacking. These sections are great variety and again make perfect sense within the game world. But what I loved most about Nier Automata was how it incorporated leveling up and equipping abilities. Your character has a certain number of chip slots that you can attach to various augmentations, like health or damage ups, but the elements of your HUD are also chips that can be removed to free up more space for upgrades. So you can remove your map, health, or any information on screen if you want, and instead pile up on skills and benefits to stand more of a chance. You can even remove your OS chip, but it just causes an automatic game over for obvious reasons. But I don't know if I've seen another game tackle upgrades in such a cool way, giving you the freedom to balance the game however you'd like, while also fitting directly into the story without breaking immersion. Nier is a blast to play and one of the most unique gaming experiences I've ever had. I think it's important to acknowledge games that truly innovate, because it's easy to get bogged down by the same repetitive installments over and over. These games and many others this year have reminded me that there's so much more that developers have yet to experiment with and try out. And just when I think there's nothing new under the sun, the truth is that the sky's the limit, and we'll continue to see impressive feats for years to come. Tell me your favorite video game innovations so far in 2017, and let's talk about why games are so cool in the comments below. Thanks for watching another episode of Good Game Design. I'll see you guys next time. Stay frosty, my friends. Hey there, if you enjoy the Good Game Design series, a great way to help out is to share this video with a friend. A genuine endorsement goes a long way, and I can't thank you all enough. If you feel like supporting the show, Patreon is an excellent way to do so, and the best way to stay updated on all things Snowman Gaming is on Twitter, so be sure to follow me on there as well. Alrighty, I'm out of here. See ya!